What if I told you that the secret to youthful skin has, well, absolutely nothing to do with the serums you put on your face?
Right.
And literally everything to do with the invisible electrical wiring running beneath it.
It completely shatters the paradigm we've been operating under for decades. I mean, we've been obsessing over the surface canvas for so long.
Yeah.
Totally ignoring the fact that the canvas is actually plugged into a wall outlet, you know?
Okay, let's unpack this, because for you listening, today's deep dive is going to fundamentally change how you view your own biology.
Absolutely.
We are looking at a 2026 paper from the journal Cell, published by Wang and colleagues. And the mission today is to map out this hidden circuit in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Because this research proves that our nervous system doesn't just feel the outside world, it actively chemically dictates how fast your skin ages.
The underlying question here is something dermatologists just haven't traditionally focused on.
Right.
Think about the sensory nerves running through your dermis. We know they act as an alarm system.
Like when you touch a hot stove.
Exactly. They fire when a coffee cup is too hot, or when you get a paper cut. They process pain, temperature, touch.
Yeah.
But the research team asked this really brilliant question. Do those nerves actually do any maintenance for the skin itself while they're just, sitting there?
Are they just the home security system, or are they also the housekeeping staff?
Precisely. And to find out, the researchers essentially asked, what happens if we just unplug the alarm system?
Right.
They designed a study to completely cut off the sensory nerve supply to the skin. And to make sure their findings were bulletproof, they didn't just snip a nerve and call it a day.
No, of course not.
They used 3 distinct, completely different methods to silence the wiring in mice.
I love when studies do this, because it basically eliminates the chance of a fluke, right?
Exactly.
So what were the 3 ways?
First, they went the traditional route, surgical denervation.
Just physically cutting them.
Right. They physically severed the dorsal cutaneous nerves.
Mm-hmm.
But surgery causes trauma, and that trauma could skew the results.
Yeah, inflammation and all that.
Exactly. So for the second method, they used genetic engineering. They bred mice that express a specific vulnerability.
A vulnerability.
Yeah, a diphtheria toxin receptor, but only on a certain type of pain-sensing nerve.
Oh, wow.
So when they introduced the toxin, it acted like a genetic Trojan horse. It silently wiped out just those specific nerves without touching a single skin cell.
It's like a highly targeted biological strike.
Very targeted. And finally, for the third method, they used a chemical called RTX.
What does that do?
It's a compound that aggressively burns out pain-sensing nerve fibers locally.
Okay, so you have surgery, genetic self-destruction, and a chemical burnout.
Right.
No matter how you slice it, the wiring is completely gone.
Gone.
What happened to the skin?
The skin fell apart almost immediately.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Across all 3 models, removing those nerves dramatically accelerated the aging of the skin.
Wow.
The abundance of collagen, which is the structural scaffolding that keeps skin plump and youthful, it just absolutely plummeted.
And reading through your notes, this wasn't just like a passive deflating of the skin either.
No, not at all.
The actual microscopic machinery inside the cells broke down. Walk us through what happened on a molecular level, because this is where the how gets really fascinating.
So inside your skin, you have cells called fibroblasts.
Okay.
Their entire job is to manufacture collagen. And to do that, they rely on a molecular assembly line known as the SMAD23 signaling pathway.
SMAD23.
Right. When the nerves were removed, that SMAD assembly line just ground to a complete halt. The factory doors basically shut.
But the cells don't just quietly retire, do they? They start causing trouble.
Yeah, they become what we call senescent.
Right.
The researchers measured a massive spike in a protein called P16.
And P16 is bad.
In cellular biology, P16 is a major red flag. It's basically the universal molecular marker for a dying, aging tissue.
So for you listening, the best way to understand a senescent cell with high P16 is to think of it as a zombie cell.
That's a great way to put it.
It stops doing its job. It stops building collagen, but it refuses to actually die.
Right, it just hangs around.
Instead, it just sits in your tissue, secreting all this inflammatory garbage that actively degrades the healthy cells around it.
That is a very accurate way to picture it. The localized tissue environment just becomes totally toxic.
So let's visualize the big picture here. Think of your skin's collagen-producing fibroblasts as a vibrant, lush garden.
Okay.
And the sensory nerves running through that skin, they act like an automated irrigation system.
Right.
If you turn off the water, meaning you denervate the skin, the plants don't just hit pause.
No.
They actively wither, they turn into those toxic zombie cells, and the whole garden ages rapidly.
Which brings us to the next massive hurdle the researchers had to cross.
Okay, what's that?
Well, if the nerves are the irrigation system, what exactly is the water?
Right.
Are the nerves structurally holding the skin up like a trellis? Or are they releasing some kind of chemical fertilizer that keeps the garden alive?
I mean, it has to be chemical, right? Nerves are way too microscopic to act as physical scaffolding for the whole body.
It is chemical. And to figure out what was flowing through those pipes, they shifted away from mice and started analyzing human data.
Real human skin.
Yeah, they took skin samples from 148 human participants.
Wow, that's a good sample size.
Definitely, ranging from 17 to 82 years old. And they were looking for any biological element that dramatically disappeared as people got older.
And one specific protein was flashing neon red in the data, right?
Yes, a protein called NEFH.
Yeah.
That stands for neurofilament heavy chain. In the older participants, NEFH expression was drastically downgraded. And crucially, it mapped perfectly to their collagen levels. So the less NEFH an 80-year-old had, the less collagen they had.
Now, I want to clarify something to the listener here. This protein, NEFH, isn't just sloshing around everywhere in the skin like a lotion, is it? Where exactly is it?
It is highly exclusive. Using advanced single-cell sequencing, the researchers proved NEFH is completely absent from standard skin cells.
Really?
Yeah, you won't find it in skin surface cells. You won't find it in immune cells. It only exists inside a very specific type of sensory nerve fiber.
And what's that called?
A VGlut2 positive glutamatergic neuron.
Okay, so it's a structural component actually inside the irrigation pipe.
Yes. Think of NEFH like the rebar inside a concrete pillar.
Ah, got it.
It gives the nerve its structural integrity, and the physical relationship here is incredibly intimate.
How so?
Under a 3D microscope, you can literally see the collagen-making fibroblasts wrapping their cellular arms around these NEFH-filled nerve fibers.
Wow.
They are literally hugging them.
So the garden is physically wrapped around the water pipe.
Exactly.
But the tragedy of human aging is that the NEFH rebar inside that pipe slowly vanishes.
It does.
Why? Like, where does it go?
It gets assassinated by the body's own housekeeping system.
Assassinated.
Basically, yeah. As we age, a protein called HECDG1 begins to rise in our nervous system.
HECW1.
Right. HECUD1 is what we call an E3 locus.
The grim reaper of the cell.
That is exactly its function. This grim reaper roams around, finds the NEFH protein, and slaps a tag on it.
A tag.
Yeah, that tag is a molecule called ubiquitin.
Okay, so ubiquitin is basically a cellular sticky note that says, this is trash, please destroy.
Yes, exactly. The Grim Reaper tags the structural protein, the cell's waste disposal system shreds it, and the nerve loses its internal integrity.
Wow.
And here's the thing. This mechanism doesn't just explain normal skin aging, it accidentally solved a massive mystery in neurology.
This is the part of the research that completely blew my mind. Talk about ALS.
So ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, is a devastating neurodegenerative condition where patients lose their motor neurons.
Right, it's terrible.
It is, and for a long time, neurologists have known that a hallmark of ALS is the mutation or severe loss of this exact same protein, NEFH.
So the pipes in their nervous system are degrading. But ALS is a disease of movement and muscle control. What does that have to do with dermatology?
Well, a lesser-known, rarely discussed symptom of ALS patients is that they often have abnormally thin, fragile skin.
Really?
Yeah, with very low collagen content. And for decades, it was just treated as a strange side effect.
So like maybe they were just inactive or the medications were causing it.
Exactly. But this paper proves it's a direct mechanical link.
That is wild.
The systemic loss of this nerve protein causes skin aging in healthy older adults. And because that same protein is aggressively destroyed in ALS patients, their skin loses its collagen on a highly accelerated timeline.
That bridges neurology and dermatology in a way I have just never heard of before.
It's groundbreaking.
But hang on, this raises a huge mechanical question for me.
Okay.
If this Grim Reaper E3 legis destroys the structural rebar inside the nerve, doesn't the nerve just snap? Like, does the whole nerve die?
Logically, that is exactly what the researchers assumed would happen. If the pipe loses its structure, the pipe should burst. The nerve should retract and die.
Right. It makes sense.
So they bred a new batch of mice and genetically deleted NEFH from just these specific skin nerves to basically watch them die.
Man.
Here is the massive plot twist of the paper. The nerves survived.
Wait, They didn't retract at all.
Not even a millimeter. Their physical branches reaching into the skin were completely intact. The pipe was entirely whole.
Okay, wait. If the physical pulp is perfectly intact, but the skin is still rapidly aging and losing collagen, what is broken?
Their electrical spark.
Oh.
The researchers hooked these nerves up to microscopic sensors to measure their electrical current. And what they found was that without NEFH, the nerves lost their excitability.
Excitability.
Right. They fired significantly fewer action potentials. They were physically present, structurally fine, but functionally silent.
And because they couldn't fire an electrical signal, they stopped pushing the chemical fertilizer out into the garden.
Exactly. And because we know these are glutamatergic neurons, the specific chemical they stopped releasing was glutamate.
Glutamate. I mean, anyone who has taken a Psychology 101 class knows about glutamate.
Oh, yeah. It's famous.
It is the most abundant neurotransmitter in the human brain. It's how our brain processes complex thoughts, learning, and memory. But you're saying the skin uses it too.
In the skin, glutamate acts as a highly localized endogenous anti-aging serum.
Wow.
The data shows that as humans age, the free glutamate in our older skin and blood plasma drops significantly.
Makes it.
And in those mice, the moment the nerves went silent, the glutamate supply to the fibroblasts just shut off completely.
So natural follow-up question here. If the skin is just lacking glutamate, what happens if we just pour it back in?
The researchers tested exactly that. They took 18-month-old mice. Now, in mouse years, these are senior citizens.
Right, little old mice.
They have thin, papery skin, high levels of those toxic zombie P16 cells we talked about, and very low collagen. First, they injected glutamate directly into the skin.
And it worked.
Beautifully. The fibroblasts woke back up, collagen density skyrocketed, and the zombie cells were cleared out.
That's incredible.
But they took it one step further, which I know you found fascinating.
Yes. Here's where it gets really interesting for me. They didn't just use needles.
Nope.
In a separate cohort, they literally just dissolved glutamate into the mice's drinking water. They fed them the neurotransmitter orally.
And the results were identical. The oral glutamate reversed the skin aging phenotypes completely, and crucially, it did all of this without triggering any systemic inflammation.
Wow.
It didn't agitate the immune system at all.
I have to jump in and push back on this, though.
Okay, go for it.
Because if the secret to youthful skin is just eating or drinking a neurotransmitter,
right,
why on earth did human evolution bother building this incredibly complex neural wiring system? If the chemical does all the heavy lifting, why not just let the skin absorb it from the bloodstream naturally?
It's an excellent question, and it really comes down to precision and toxicity.
Toxicity.
Yeah. Yes, giving oral glutamate worked in these controlled senior mice. But human biology is vastly more complex.
Right.
If you just flood a human body with systemic glutamate, you are going to run into massive problems.
Let's go to the brain.
Exactly. In the brain, glutamate causes excitement, but too much of it causes extreme neurotoxicity. It can literally excite neurons to death.
Oh, wow. So a systemic pill would be like turning a fire hose on the whole city just to water one garden.
Exactly. The absolute genius of this cutaneous nerve network is its targeted delivery.
I see.
The nerves act as microscopic eyedroppers. They deliver the glutamate precisely to the fibroblasts in the exact microdoses required, right at the molecular receptor where the collagen needs to be built.
That's so elegant.
It is. It provides a local, highly regulated loop that a systemic pill simply cannot replicate without severe side effects.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The wiring is about safe, targeted delivery. But this brings up another missing link. We know the nerve is broadcasting the glutamate.
Yes.
But a radio broadcast is totally useless without a radio receiver.
Exactly.
The chemical would just float on by. How does the skin cell actually hear the nerve?
To figure out the receiver, we have to look at the exact molecular chain of command.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Let's look at the broadcaster first. Inside the nerve, NEFH doesn't just push the glutamate out by itself.
Right, it's just the rebar.
Right. Through a process called mass spectrometry, the researchers realized NEFH physically binds to a middleman enzyme called CDK5.
CDK5.
Yes. And CDK5's job is to maintain a transport vehicle called VGLUT2.
Right, so VGLUT2 is basically the molecular dump truck that actually carries the glutamate to the edge of the nerve and dumps it into the skin.
That's a great analogy. So the nerve's assembly line is very rigid. NEFH holds up CDK5.
Got it.
CDK5 powers the VGLUT2 dump truck, and the dump truck releases the glutamate.
Okay, but you asked about the receiver on the skin side.
Right. What is the antenna on the fibroblast that catches the glutamate? The researchers scoured massive databases of single-cell atlases to map the receptors on skin fibroblasts.
And what did they find?
They isolated a very specific glutamate transporter called SLC1A3.
SLC1A3.
There is the radio antenna. When glutamate hits SLC1A3, the fibroblast springs into action and builds collagen.
Okay, so we have the whole circuit.
We do. But here is the heartbreaking reality of biological aging. It's a double whammy.
Oh, no.
As you age, your nerves lose NEFH and stop broadcasting the glutamate. But simultaneously, your skin cells slowly lose their SLC1A3 antennas.
Oh, man. So even if the nerve is screaming, the skin cell is going deaf.
Precisely. And they proved this by genetically deleting just the SLC1A3 antennas from the fibroblasts of mice.
What happened?
When they did that, they could flood the skin with all the glutamate in the world and absolutely nothing happened.
Wow.
The anti-aging effects completely vanished. It is a locked two-part biological circuit. You need the broadcaster and you need the receiver.
This is such an elegant biological loop. But, whenever biology has a master switch like this, my mind immediately goes to the extremes.
Right.
We've been talking entirely about how to fix old, thin skin by turning this pathway up.
Yes.
What happens if this nerve circuit gets stuck in the on position? Because too much collagen isn't useful skin, it's scar tissue.
That is the exact flip side the researchers explored next, and it might be one of the most therapeutically important parts of the whole paper.
Really?
They looked at skin fibrosis.
For the listener, fibrosis is when the skin hyperaccumulates collagen. Think of severe keloid scarring or a devastating autoimmune disease like systemic sclerosis,
Right.
where the skin becomes thick, hard, and rigid. The garden essentially becomes wildly overgrown and chokes itself out.
It's incredibly difficult to treat because we've never fully understood the root cause.
Okay.
So the researchers used a mouse model that induces severe skin fibrosis using a chemical called bleomycin.
Okay, so they created fibrosis in the mice.
Yes. Then they decided to attack this newly discovered nerve circuit. They applied a pharmacological drug to inhibit CDK5.
Just to remind you listening, CDK5 is that middleman inside the nerve that helps load the glutamate dump truck.
Right. By blocking CDK5, they essentially hit the mute button on the nerve.
Couldn't release glutamate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the result was spectacular. Muting the nerve successfully stopped the hyperaccumulation of collagen. It halted the dermal fibrosis right in its tracks.
Wow. So they didn't just find an anti-aging mechanism, they found the master volume dial for human skin structure.
They really did.
If you turn the NEFH glutamate pathway up, you can cure skin aging and clear out senescent zombie cells. If you turn the dial down, you can cure fibrotic scarring.
It fundamentally changes dermatology.
Yeah.
For so long, we've treated skin conditions by applying chemicals to the surface, hoping to directly alter the fibroblasts.
Like throwing things over the garden wall.
Exactly. This paper proves we should actually be treating the nervous system. It's the birth of true neurodermatology.
Think about your own medicine cabinet for a second. Think about all the creams, the retinols, the moisturizers.
Millions of dollars spent.
Right. But how many of those routines are actively targeting your nervous system?
None of them.
None of them. Because until this paper was published, we didn't even know this electrical circuit existed. We were painting the walls of a house while the foundation was slowly crumbling.
And the foundation is entirely neurological. The health and excitability of your cutaneous nerves dictate the biological age of your skin.
This brings me to a final, slightly provocative thought I want to leave you with today.
Let's hear it.
It's something that wasn't explicitly tested in this specific paper, but it's a logical leap that builds on everything we just uncovered.
Okay.
If our sensory nerves are constantly bathing our skin in glutamate to keep it young,
Yeah.
and we know that silencing those nerves causes rapid aging,
Right.
sensory experiences that actively stimulate our skin act as literal biological anti-aging treatments.
Oh, that is a very compelling hypothesis. You're talking about forcing the nerves to fire.
Exactly. Think about deep tissue massage or acupuncture, or even intense temperature therapies like cold plunges and saunas.
Mm-hmm.
We've always known these things feel good, and we usually write it off as, oh, it increases blood flow, or it reduces stress.
Right, the usual explanations.
But if you are physically, mechanically forcing those sensory nerves to fire action potentials over and over again, are you literally forcing this exact neural pathway to dump glutamate onto your fibroblasts.
By maintaining the electrical excitability of those specific neurons, you might actually be preventing the Grim Reaper protein from destroying the NEFH structural pipes.
Exactly.
It completely recontextualizes the biological value of physical touch and therapy.
It really does. It means a massage might not just be relaxing your muscles. It might be molecularly turning on the anti-aging irrigation system in your dermis.
It's incredible to think about.
Suddenly, human biology feels vastly more connected and intricate than we ever imagined. The surface is just a reflection of the wiring underneath.
Absolutely.
I highly encourage you to look at your skin differently today. Not as a passive canvas, but as a deeply connected living electrical grid. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us. We'll catch you on the next one.